Who doesn't love a good knockout? And MMA is no stranger to providing fans with them. Everything aside, the greatest thing about a knockout is it can turn a fight the other way in a blink of an eye. One punch can change history, and the ones we're about to show you in this video have done just that. Sure, grappling, punching, and choking are fun to watch, but in the brutal, no-holds-barred sport of MMA, there's nothing quite like a gangster knockout. The epic combination of perfect timing and sheer physical force with the shock, awe, and surprise of getting slammed in the face is almost like a form of art. It's not easy putting together the toughest, gnarliest, and most terrifying knockouts of all time because there have been so many memorable moments featuring fans' favorite fighters. Still, there are some that stand tall above the rest and are superior to others. Make sure you watch this video till the end because we have saved the best for the last. So, let's get started. Welcome to the age of MMA. Enjoy this video. Number 15, Kamaru Usman floors Jorge Masvidal in an emphatic fashion. The Nigerian's welterweight belt was on the line as they faced off at UFC 261.
Well done, gents.
Masvidal, I mean, credit to that man. Made it exciting the whole time, didn't give up.
Give me 6 weeks, man. I can beat that guy. The only reason this man took the fight is because it was on 6 days' notice and he had a built-in excuse. Guess what? It's not done. I'll give you a whole training camp. I guarantee you, you won't sign on that dotted line because this time I'm gonna finish your ass.
The welterweight champion produced a stunning knockout with a violent finish to defend his title belt. Masvidal collapsed to the canvas before Usman pounced on his prey with a series of brutal hammer fists to the head as he crouched over his rival. The beaten American could offer no defense as he lost consciousness, and the referee quickly stopped the fight to ensure no further damage was done. Usman, who extended his MMA record to 19-1, jumped out of the cage as the crowd went crazy before celebrating with UFC President Dana White. Number 14, Daniel Cormier beats Stipe Miocic via first-round knockout. Before UFC 226, Daniel Cormier had 9 career knockouts. However, only 2 of them came during his stint in the UFC. So if there was anyone that would add Stipe Miocic to an all-time UFC knockouts list, light heavyweight champion Cormier in a move up to heavyweight was the last one you would expect. Yet, with one short hook inside the clinch, DC shocked the world and made history. He became the second man to have won both the light heavyweight and heavyweight titles. He was the first one to hold them simultaneously and the second to hold 2 belts at once in UFC history. Plus, he did so over the man universally viewed as the best heavyweight of all time.
Okay, gentlemen, you understand the rules you're pointing under?
The action begins right now. Miocic trying to close the distance here.
Grab him. He'd rather get in these types of scenarios early than be punching back and forth with Stipe. He clinches. Exactly what you want.
Number 13, Amanda Nunes stuns Chris Cyborg Justino via first-round knockout to win featherweight title. Cyborg has been the most dominant fighter in the promotion since she made her UFC debut in 2016. This was her 6th bout with the company, with only one going past 3 rounds. According to Fight Metric stats, before Saturday, Cyborg averaged 7.02 significant strikes landed per minute and has only been taken down 9% of the time in 22 career fights. For comparison, John Jones has only averaged 4.41 significant strikes per minute in his career. Up until UFC 232, it was a universally accepted fact that Chris Cyborg Justino was the scariest fighter in women's MMA. 17 knockouts and 20 straight wins will do that. So when she stepped into the octagon to defend her featherweight title against bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes, many expected the trend to continue. Lioness wasn't having it.
I'm gonna be there ready for you.
And make sure you be there, because Lance, I know you pull out before it fights.
Yeah,
make sure you're gonna be there. Make
I
sure.
did pull out.
I'm not gonna believe you when you be in
But,
the cage. When you be in the cage and close the door, I know you're gonna be there.
In beating Cyborg at her own game, it was a major pivot point in women's MMA. No longer was Justino the baddest woman on the planet. Nunes now was. And she had 2 shiny gold UFC emblazoned belts to prove it.
Ladies, you understand the rules you fight under. You listen to me at all times, you keep yourself protected. Let's do it.
Amanda Nunes has deceptively long punches. She catches you at the very end of them, and she's got serious power.
Nice. Oh, Nunes! She really dropped Cyborg! She hurt her! She's still got her down! Cyborg nearly out on her feet! Oh! She did it! She did it! Cyborg out cold!
It was too fast. She was too fast for her.
Undisputed UFC.
Number 12, Scott Smith knocks out Pete Sell after a big hit. The Scott Smith vs. Pete Sell knockout is one of the top comebacks in UFC history. The fight is also one of the better knockouts you will see in the sport of MMA. It was a back and forth fight up until Sell landed his left hook to the body of Smith. Smith was visibly hurt and backed up, holding his ribs in excruciating pain. Sell then charges Smith, who is showing no signs of putting up any more of a fight. Most people who watch this would probably think Smith is definitely a goner. Well, in the sport of MMA, this is just one of the many moments that make you feel anything is possible. Sell gets close and Smith just puts all the pain he is feeling aside and lands a vicious right hand that plasters Sell's face. After the knockout blow is delivered, Smith immediately collapses to the ground in pain from the body shot.
Tonight, friendship is put aside for potentially 15 minutes here. Although the early confidence shown by Scott Smith.
Good kick and good punch by Scott Smith. Good counter there by Seth. Nice uppercut left hook. But Scott Smith is throwing some bombs, man. Scott is throwing wilder punches. He's got the laser.
Number 11, Yair Rodriguez beats the buzzer with back elbow. The main event of UFC Fight Night 139 between the Korean zombie Chan Sung-young and Yair Rodriguez was supposed to be special, but nobody could have predicted it would be this special. For nearly 5 rounds, Rodriguez and Young threw kitchen sinks at one another. Spinning kicks, looping punches, flying knees. Each man broke pieces off of the other with a measured, relentless offense. Young was ahead of the scorecards entering the final round, and with just a few seconds left on the clock, he blitzed forward to put an exclamation point on his win. That move bit him and bit him hard. He was met with a bending back elbow by Rodriguez on the final tick of the clock. It was a crushing turn of events for Young, who had been out of the cage for almost 2 years due to injury.
Korean zombie taking on Yair Rodriguez. And we are underway.
Straight jab there. Zombie rushes in. He's to land big shots, just like that.
Uppercuts repeatedly with the right hands. Are they going to throw another big shot?
Oh, nice body kick.
One more forward.
Oh!
Number 10, the vicious Francis Ngannou KO Alistair Overeem that announced him as UFC's most dangerous heavyweight fighter. Many would argue that Ngannou's stock skyrocketed the night he put Alistair Overeem to sleep in 2017. Bearing in mind, Overeem had fought in and around the very top of UFC's heavyweight division for years. He was the first major name that Ngannou had to face in that company after knocking out all 5 of his opponents prior to Overeem. Many were curious as to how he would adjust. The answer was extremely well. Ngannou would knock Overeem out with a scintillating uppercut in the very first round after fending off the Demolition Man's attempts to manhandle the Predator.
Francis Ngannou with an opportunity to join that mix tonight. And for Alistair Overeem, his 60th professional MMA fight.
Alistair runs at him with a left hook. Very interesting. Alistair can clinch.
Not a lot of people burning up Nick Maynard's phone to try to get a matchup with Ngannou. Oh, goes the Reem! Francis Ngannou has arrived! Paging Stipe Miocic. Francis Ngannou is coming.
Good lord.
Number 9, Gabriel Gonzaga gives Mirko Cro Cop taste of his own medicine. Mirko Cro Cop is famous for head kicks that knock out opponents and leave them wondering what happened. At UFC 70 though, it was Gabriel Gonzaga who turned the tables on Cro Cop and used a devastating head kick to end the bout. This was Cro Cop's second bout in the UFC after knocking out Eddie Sanchez in UFC 67 just 2 months prior. This fight was a heavyweight title eliminator and was the closest Cro Cop ever came to UFC gold. Gonzaga threw one punch and just then Gonzaga thought, what the heck, why not try a head kick? Just like that, Cro Cop was on the wrong end of a head kick and left on the ground dazed and seeing stars.
Straight right hand to Gonzaga.
Was a lack of respect coming into this fight. Very nice catch, though. Takedown.
Mirko looks tentative though.
Number 8, Conor McGregor stuns Jose Aldo in 13 seconds to take the UFC featherweight title. Who doesn't know the notorious Irishman? Any list about UFC is incomplete without McGregor, and so is this one. Conor McGregor boasted again and again about what would happen when Jose Aldo stood across from him in the octagon.
I don't want to scare him anymore. He's petrified. He went running before. So now I'm going to take the opposite approach. Cuddle him, look after him, whisper sweet nothings, tell him it's going to be all right. It will be over quick. And hopefully get him into that octagon December 12th and then end his career.
But even the 27-year-old Irishman never went so far as to predict that Aldo, undefeated in 18 bouts going back to 2005, would be knocked out cold in 13 seconds. Aldo reigned undefeated in the octagon for 10 years before McGregor blew that record away with a swift left hook that's sure to go down in the UFC's history books. It was to be the most dramatic Conor McGregor moment yet.
Jose Aldo. Conor McGregor.
The most highly anticipated featherweight fight of all time. Green trunks for the southpaw, notorious Conor McGregor. Black trunks for the champion, Jose Aldo Jr.
Relaxed, smiling. Oh! He slapped him! And the new UFC featherweight champion!
Number 7, Holly Holm puts the world in shock. Ronda Rousey became arguably the biggest upset victim in UFC history after dominating her 3 previous opponents in a total of 64 seconds.
Big trouble! Just like that! Oh my goodness!
UFC 193 was supposed to be another celebration of Ronda Rousey's dominance. Instead, Holly Holm flipped the script and made it a historic night. She won the UFC Women's Bantamweight title with a second-round knockout win over Rousey in the main event in Melbourne, Australia. The fight will go down as one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. According to OddsShark, Holm opened the fight as a 33-4 underdog. As Holm was facing the biggest star in the sport who had finished every single opponent, there's a reason why few gave Holm a chance to do what she ended up doing. This wasn't the kind of knockout that came with one fluke punch. Holm must get credit for simply outstriking Rousey for the duration of the fight. Number 6, Chuck Liddell knocks out Randy Couture, earns first UFC title. Two of the most influential and popular figures in MMA history collided in the octagon for their rematch in 2005.
And I'm going to win by knockout. I think this fight ends just like it did last time.
Upon time in, Liddell and Couture widely exchanged. Liddell cranked Couture with a brutal straight right hand that sent the champion to the mat. From there, Liddell went for the kill. The Iceman pounced on his downed opponent and removed whatever consciousness was left inside Couture. Not only did Liddell clinch the title at UFC 52, but he also avenged a loss suffered to Couture in 2003.
It's time! All right, Chuck and Randy, you received your instructions in the locker room. Do I have any questions for you, Chuck?
So well versed. Oh, there's a connection. Nice right hand and a left hook by Randy. Randy trying to close in though now. And he goes down. He's down. And Chuck Liddell. Oh, he is out. Light heavyweight champion of the world. Randy, wow.
Number 5, the fight that lasted 5 seconds. After weeks of some heated trash talk, Jorge Masvidal finally faced Ben Askren at UFC 239 in Las Vegas. Thanks to Masvidal and his running knee, it lasted all of 5 seconds. As the fight opened, Masvidal sprinted from his side of the fence and connected with Askren's head as he crouched to try to engage with Masvidal.
Bread is in the building, and these guys just flapping gums at each other any chance they get. The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see! Askren stiff as a ball!
It was the fastest KO in UFC history and ended Askren's unbeaten streak of 19 wins. Number 4, when Anderson Silva KO Victor Belfort with a front kick. Anderson Silva's epic knockout over Victor Belfort is one for the ages. As the talented Brazilian circled around Belfort, it was shaping up to be another bewildering fight that would draw heat from UFC customers that plunked down $54.95 to purchase the pay-per-view event. After all, Silva has a reputation for disrespecting the sport by sprinkling bizarre performances in between his brilliant fights. The boos instantaneously turned to oohs and ahs when Silva landed a straight kick that landed square in Belfort's chin at 3:25 of the first round. The knockout was one for the ages and sure to be replayed constantly on highlight reels for years to come.
Follow my orders at all times. Defend yourself for all times.
Anderson Silva, Vitor Belfort. Here we go.
It's been a bunch of fun. Oh, attacked him to the left. Spent a lot of money on pay-per-view and they got ripped off. He goes for the head kick and he's down.
Right back up though is the spread.
Vitor looking for the big left hand. Like we said, second to none.
Oh! He front kicked him in the face. Absolutely right. Trying to finish. It is to the face. Anderson Silva remains the real champion.
Number 3, Joaquin Buckley puts Impa Kasanganay to rest. UFC middleweight Joaquin Buckley may have made himself into a star with one swiftly improvised kick during his fight against Impa Kasanganay on Saturday night. Kasanganay thought he had the upper hand by catching Buckley's foot to block a kick attempt, but Numanza countered with a spinning back kick that caught his opponent square in the face to score the knockout win. What Buckley did, which looks like something out of a Matrix or John Wick movie, absolutely belongs in the pantheon of historic knockouts in mixed martial arts history. UFC highlight packages will forever show Buckley sending Kasangane to the mat.
When I seen that opportunity, I took it. That one kick for that one chance to change my whole entire life. I seen that window of opportunity and I made sure to explode it.
Number 2, Dan Henderson sends Michael Bisping back to the Stone Age, courtesy of the H-Bomb. At UFC 100, Dan Henderson created a knockout that most casual fans know him by now. In the second round of the fight, Henderson sets up his beautifully placed 100% American muscle right hand into the chin of Bisping, who suffered one of the most brutal KO losses in MMA history. On top of that right hand, Henderson sent one more punch to a knocked out Bisping that, in Henderson's words, was just to shut him up a little bit. This knockout earned Henderson Knockout of the Night and many Knockout of the Year honors.
Henderson trying to hunt down his opponent. There's that big right hand. Swing and a miss. Man, Henderson's looking to load up. And that's what he does. He's got vicious power in that right hand.
Number 1, Edson Barboza bounces Terry Ateem with spectacular head kick KO. Edson Barboza posted a KO of the year finish at UFC 142 and became the first UFC fighter to execute a spinning wheel kick for a knockout, using the spectacular piece of leg work to fell Terry Ateem in the third round of what was otherwise a closely contested bout. Edson Barboza was cruising towards a solid victory, but that wasn't enough. The Brazilian decided to try a spectacular spinning heel kick, and Terry Ateem's face was the unfortunate recipient.
And here we go for 3 5-minute rounds.
And he does it. This time he gets it. Look at that beautiful sweep. Wow, excellent butterfly. Switch that. Fights in the first round. And shoots will take that again. Stuffed by Barboza with a... And it must be thinking, Mike, that he's got their beat here. The 1-1-2. Chance and risk getting knocked out. Oh, my God! Wow! Maybe the most spectacular knockout in UFC history.
That's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tell us what was your favorite knockout in the comments section. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon with more amazing videos just like this one. Peace out.